Welcome back to VADA Live. I'm your host, Dan Kerrigan, in the beautiful VADA headquarters in downtown Richmond, decorated for the holidays. And this is part one of a two-part video series, a sit-down with President and CEO of VADA, Don Hall. And in this segment, we're really picking Don's brain on the legislative landscape, his thoughts on 2025, dealer advocacy, and key issues that should be on dealers' minds heading into the new year. Don, thank you for taking time to join VADA Live.
Dan, thank you very much. It's good to have you back in the building, and I look forward to chatting with you today.
Let's start with 2025. How do you remember this year? What are the wins? What's top of mind for you as you look back?
Really lots of things this year, but probably earlier in the year, it was the fight with the manufacturers. There's an ongoing fight dealing with VW and Scout. The fact that letters were sent to the Department of Justice talking about the fact that selling direct is a better option than selling through our franchise system. These are things that give me great concern, and dealers need to understand clearly. Don't ignore it just because you don't hear about it. It's still out there. Manufacturers want to sell direct. It is our job to motivate you and to make sure legislators understand why that is not good for consumers and the people that work in your dealerships.
General Assembly session 2026. What should dealers be paying attention to now in Richmond?
Well, as we all know, we had elections in November, one of only two states to have elections this year in November. And as a result, we have a new governor, a new lieutenant governor, a new attorney general. The House had their elections. The 100 members were up for election or re-election. The House is controlled by the Democrats. The Senate was not up for election, controlled by the Democrats. And now the entire executive branch is controlled by the Democrats. So we've got a lot of educating to do to talk about the virtues of what car dealers do in the community, what difference we make, how much we love the opportunity to take care of customers, both in the service as well as in the sales department, that they're very important to us. We need legislators to understand that as we continue to protect the rights of consumers and dealers here in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Dealer Day on the Hill, January 28th, should be on everybody's calendar at this point. Why is it important for those in the automotive industry to be there in person at the Capitol? And what does that day mean for VADA?
First of all, I will admit to you that if 100 people showed up, I still would be sort of let down because we ought to have 500 people showing up. It matters. It matters in a big way. But Don, it's such a long drive from Southwest Virginia. Or Don, there's snow on the road. We can't come up. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, the General Assembly meets no matter what. This event will take place no matter what. They need to know that you care. We have the Dealer Day on the Hill, not Dealer Day, but Dentist Day on the Hill. They'll bring in 500-600, dentists and people working in that industry, people going to college, to become dentists and techs and so forth. So we need to be doing the same thing. We need people to understand that we care. We're big business here in the Commonwealth. It's an important day. Come in at 11:30, we feed you lunch, we educate you on the issues, and then you march on the Hill, if you will. You go out to meet people. You go out to tell them who you are. And more importantly, you meet people from back home who are elected to serve you. You matter, and you will make a difference. Be there. We need 500 people to show that they care.
One question I want to ask, Don, so you'd mentioned this, but continued pressures from manufacturers trying to move forward direct-to-consumer sales being the question. And I know Volkswagen Scout is an example of that. What's at stake for dealers now in the franchise system?
We also have Honda and the Afeela, if I pronounce that right as well, brand as well. Look, at the end of the day, manufacturers have made it clear through the letters that went to the Department of Justice and others, they would love to be able to take off certain vehicles and sell them direct to the consuming public. And in fact, I read an interesting article recently out of California where there's a lawsuit being filed against VW and for Scout. And it was interesting to read the 100 comments made by citizens. And their comment was, we don't want to deal with our local dealer. We don't want to deal with the dealer. We'd rather buy direct. The dealers play games with us and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, we ought not to be in that situation. Customers are the most important asset that we have coming into us. Our people are incredibly important who work with those customers in the service drive, in the sales department. Customers and our staff make a huge difference. We cannot sit on the sideline and let others worry about this and take care of this problem. We need to care and we need to get engaged. This is a big deal. It's not going to go away. Manufacturers want to sell direct. The franchise system is the best system. It protects consumers, it protects dealers, and it protects the almost 60,000 people that work in dealerships, in and around dealerships here in the great Commonwealth of Virginia.
When lawmakers hear from the dealers, what do you think is really important about that? What's the value and role dealerships play in their communities across Virginia? So why is it so important for that to come directly from the dealers, to take opportunities to leverage those chances with lawmakers to have their messages heard?
I've spent 37 years calling on legislators at the Capitol of Virginia on behalf of the dealers. People know who I am. They know I've been around for a long time. They expect me to say what I say, and they expect me to say it with enthusiasm. But at the same time, you make a difference. Well, Don, there's snow on the road. Don, it's a long drive. Don, I've got a meeting to go to. There's all kinds of excuses people love to give me. You make a difference because you show up. The legislators know you are busy. They know we have road conditions. They know we have rain or cold or whatever. They understand that. But you took the time to make that drive. It makes a huge difference. It shows that you give a damn. And frankly, you ought to give a damn. These things matter, and what's going to happen to us in the future is up to us to both make it happen if it's a positive or stop it if it's a negative. Let's come together, let's be part of the team, and make sure you're in Richmond and part of this.
Don, take us behind the scenes where we are chatting right now in December, General Assembly session 2026. What's going on right now at VADA to gear up for a session?
We're looking at legislation as we speak. We're contacting new members that are just elected. There are a lot of new members of the House of Delegates. I have personally dealt with our governor-elect, like her a lot. I spent over 30 minutes with her alone, chatting about various things that impact auto dealers in a big way. And so there's a lot of prep work. In fact, people always say, well, I guess you kind of relax in the month of December, and then you get really out there. It's that, in my days when I was a young guy, it's that Saturday where you're selling a lot of cars and a lot going on. The answer is no. Decembers have always been an incredibly busy month for us at VADA because there's a lot of prep work. We're even going to fundraisers every single day. We have fundraisers here in this building, even this week. And so it is very important that December for us is a prep time, but it's a very active time as we prepare to go to the legislature and to tell your story and to make sure that bad bills don't impact our business in a way that would be negative and hurt what we do and how we do what we do.
Don, appreciate your time. And you've been hearing from Don Hall, President and CEO of VADA. This is part one of a two-part series and a sit-down interview with Don to gather his thoughts. Next up, his take on leadership, culture, and what lies ahead for the industry. You don't want to miss that conversation in part two. And we appreciate and thank you for watching VADA Live. I'm Dan Kerrigan. We'll see you next time.